The Border Management Authority and the Airports Company of South Africa are all set to hold a joint briefing on security and travel measures ahead of the peak holiday season. Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Mkhwari is standing by ahead of that briefing. Veronica, I understand you are with one of the senior managers at the BMA.
That's correct, Iman. You'd, of course, understand that there's a lot of focus that will be put on the border ports this coming festive season in terms of travel, but not just the land ports, but also air travel. Crucially, being Cape Town International Airport and OR Tambo International Airport, which stands as, of course, one of the busiest air travel ports in the country. I am joined by Dr Thabo Nkhoma just to speak about what we can expect from the media briefing today, a joint briefing between AXA and the BMA, and of course the readiness of the BMA in terms of the volumes that we see coming from OR Tambo International. Dr. Nkhoma, thank you so much for your time. From a BMA point of view, what can we expect from this briefing? What are we telling travellers to prepare for before coming, of course, to the airport?
No, thanks. As you may be aware that we've commenced with our festive season border operations on the 10th of December. And we anticipated that there would be higher traveller volumes, particularly at this port of entry, OR Tambo International Airport. And we've seen that travellers have been flocking into our port, and we have put in measures in place to ensure that there is a seamless processing of travellers, as well as to ensure that security-related aspects that have to do with cross-border mobility are also addressed. We did have some minor technical glitches over the weekend, as you may be aware, but our IT technicians are on site and on board to resolve any other technical issues that we may experience going forward. I think you could have also observed that in the past 3 days, we never had experienced any challenges, and this shows our responsiveness to the challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. You talk about security measures. We've seen a number of drug mule incidents, drug trafficking happening here, successful in terms of the fact that they have been managed to be arrested. But what is obviously the measures in terms of ensuring that we can control the travel from a security point of view?
Sure. As much as I cannot go into detail in terms of the specifics, but we have multidisciplinary teams from across the entities that are operating at the ports. It could be our South African Police Services, Customs, Interpol, as well as the Border Management Authority, who are working together on a day-to-day basis to look into any possible threats and risks that we may face at our ports, including our state security agency, providing us with the much needed intelligence to intercept any threats and risks.
Yeah. And of course, I can imagine for many of the viewers, they've been watching what's been happening here at OR Tambo International, the many disruptions, both from just a operational point of view. How can we assure passengers, travelers, that coming to OR Tambo International will be a smooth travel process, especially given the task that the BMA faces ahead?
Sure. No, measures have been put in place to respond, as I've indicated. Additional resources have been deployed. Additional systems are being brought in to augment what we already have on board. So they must be rest assured that we are going to give them the best experience ever. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Nkhoma, there speaking. But of course, Iman saying that they're confident that it will be a smooth and seamless travel for passengers here. But of course, the proof is in the pudding. You heard there Dr. Nkhoma speaking about the earlier disruptions that happened. And this would have been over the weekend into Monday, where passengers saw delays in terms of the processing of their passports after the BMA's biometric movement system essentially was unresponsive. It's responsible for the processing of passports, and so there was a lot of delay in terms of immigration. And these are just some of the disruptions that have been plaguing essentially OR Tambo International so far, as we've seen those many disruptions happening. And so it's key for viewers to be able to watch this briefing to get a sense really of how they plan to tackle some of these unplanned interruptions, but also the usual questions in terms of travel, the documentation that is needed, and of course to ensure that there is safety and security at what is, of course, a national key point in the country, but a major holiday destination, a major holiday travel tunnel in terms of reaching other destinations. Iman.